one thing that God has allowed me to do with people who I found in conversating with them or meeting them that they were open to exploring their faith was to be able to take them through a book of the Bible, and particularly John. And the way I've done this is I would encourage them to read a chapter a day, to send me a 1-minute video on WhatsApp or Marco Polo about what stands out to them. And I actually encourage them to start by asking before they read the chapter for God to speak to them. And I tell them specifically, don't try to talk for minutes. Don't tell me what the passage means to you. Don't tell me what you think it means, because we're most likely going to lead people the wrong way if they think they know what it means or they know what it means to them. I encourage them just to say really briefly what stood out to them and why it stood out to them. And that becomes a place for them to begin to interact with Scripture and with the Lord's revealing of His work in their life, and for you to be able to comment on it. And I've seen many people actually come to faith through this process. I say many, but I have seen numerous people come to faith through this process of reading Scripture and being able to read it with them. And so it's a journey. It requires sacrifice of you. It requires sacrifice of them. This has come up in many occasions. One occasion is the one type of way that it comes up is people make some comment about their atheism or their opinion on Christianity or religion or the church, and I ask a simple question: Have you ever read the words of Jesus? Have you ever read through one of the Gospels that tells us about His life and gives us His words? And so often that question is, you know what? No, I haven't. Or maybe they're a spiritual person, and I'm like, did you grow up with a Christian faith? Like, yeah, a little bit. Like, how deep was that? And at some point that they realize, like, oh, they didn't really go that deep, or or maybe they wanted to be reacquainted. It's been a long time since they've read. They've been in Scripture, and I've found so many times through all these different ways that if I offer to go through Scripture with somebody, and not just teach them what it says, but invite them to the table to be fed by the Lord, it really has been effective. And so you can do that. Marco Polo WhatsApp works best. Strong encouragement to keep people to under a minute, and to encourage them to say what stood out to them and why.